Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable Mrs. Dr. Muslimah Susilayati MPD as the Lecturer of Academic Writing International Class Program and all of my beloved friends. So, I'm Daniela Haque with last student number 062. Here I try to present about research trends on English vocabulary mastery from 2020 to 2025. This is a review based on publication trends, education levels, and also learning design. So, English vocabulary mastery is very important because it helps people understand and use English in speaking, reading, listening, and also writing. If students have a small vocabulary, they often find it hard to understand text and also express their ideas. Since 2020, many learning methods have changed, especially because online learning and technology become more common. Because of this, many researchers started to study new ways to help students learn vocabulary such as using applications, games, videos, and learning vocabulary through context. So, from 2020 to 2025, research on vocabulary mastery has grown and focused on learning trends, deeper education levels, and better lesson designs. Reviewing these studies helps us know which methods are popular, which ones work well, and what teachers and researchers can improve in the future. Okay, the next slide is about the research questions. So, the first research question is, what are the English vocabulary mastery situation of trends? The second research question is, how is the current distribution of educational levels of the English vocabulary mastery? Okay, and the last research question is, how is the student's mastery of English vocabulary? So, I will explain one by one. So the first research question is focused the publication trends related to English vocabulary mastery from 2020 to 2025. Then the second research question is examines the distribution of educational levels. And the last research question is discussed how how, how students English vocabulary mastery is discussed in terms of learning design. Okay. Now we move to the inclusion and exclusion criteria. So the included studies were research articles that discussed English vocabulary mastery, and only journal articles that were selected. Meanwhile, studies were excluded if they didn't focus on English vocabulary mastery or if they were not journal articles. Now, we move to the data extraction mapped to this question. So, for the first this question is about year. So, the article published in 2020 to 2025. Then, for the second research question is from educational levels. There are higher education, high school, secondary school, primary school, and kindergarten school. And the last question is about learning design. There are learning media, learning model, learning strategies, and learning method. Okay. Now we move to the Prisma table. So from this research, we got 200 publications identified from published or periods in 2020 to 2025. Next, there are 197 papers included in review, but there are 3 papers excluded because the article published in 2019 and they were also not available. from the source. And the last is we got 197 papers title and abstract screened. Okay. Now we move to the results of research question for the first research question. So for the first research question, from based on the data, the number of publication increased from 2020 to 2025. In 2020, here there were 19 articles, okay, and the number increased in 2025. I mean 2021 with 23. Okay, then there is a significant rise appeared in 2022 with 42, although the number decreased in 2023 and 24. It's stable at 35 each year, okay? And the last in 2025, the number reached the highest number with 43, okay? For the 2025, there were 43. Okay. So this trend shows that research on English vocabulary mastery continues to grow. Now we move to the next slide. Is about the results of the second research question. So the second research question examines the distribution of educational levels in English vocabulary mastery. So the results show that higher education here, the biggest is the higher education, has the highest number with 69. Then this is followed by high school with 58 studies, and then there is secondary school with 44 studies. Then research at primary school level is limited with only 9 studies, and the kindergarten is the smallest here, and the lowest is from kindergarten with 2 studies. And there are also 13 studies categorized as others, such as non-formal education. So this shows that the most research focuses on older learners, especially students in university and high school. Now we move to the last research question, the third research question. So the third research question is discuss how English vocabulary mastery is taught based on learning designs. So here the findings show that learning media is the most commonly used with 101 studies. These studies mostly talk about the digital application, games, and also online platform. So next is 15, 15 studies used in, and then learning strategy were used in 72. Meanwhile, learning method is only 15. Then, followed by learning model is the lowest with 7 studies. So this indicates that teachers and researchers prefer using media and strategies. So, the conclusion of this research that on English vocabulary mastery is increasing, mostly focuses on higher educational levels and commonly uses learning media and strategies. I think it's enough from me. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.